Ninjago has a problem. Okay, many of them. But one in particular has been annoying me since the very beginning of the show. Ninjago writing is often questionable at best, sometimes for entire seasons. Skybound. Crystallized. But beside unhealthy, toxic relationships, misogynistic comments, and the worst dialogue I've ever heard,
I have returned.
Hey champ, that's really interesting. Next time, keep it to yourself.
there's another writing oopsie that often makes me exhale sharply out of my nose. Ninjago loves to throw away stories after they're done with them. Now, I don't mean that they finish a story arc and then forget about it and never reference it again. They do make references and bring back old characters, however cheap those callbacks may be. Where the writing really struggles is something I like to call the personality reset. Once an issue is over for a character, it's over. They don't struggle with it anymore, they're not still hurt by it, they rarely even bring it up, which is not only highly unrealistic, but also very annoying to watch. When the only reference to a nearly fatal fall into a literal death cloud is a funny falling joke every now and then, I begin to get a little bit frustrated. Basically, the problem with personality reset is that it makes a character flat. Simple as that. If you just brush over the mental effects of the previous adventure just because it's convenient to do so, then your writing is lame. Have Zane hesitate to freeze people, have Lloyd get anxious about high winds, have any of them mention any of the problems they've gone through for something other than plot relevance. It makes your character seem more fleshed out and real if their traumatic events actually affect them, like they would a human person. Now, I have to give credit where credit is due. The writers don't always completely neglect the characters' traumatic experiences and how it still affects them. Kai and Nia were broken up over their parents seemingly abandoning them early in their lives, but that wasn't even an event that we as viewers got to witness. We were kind of just spoon-fed that in passing because it was convenient to the plot, so that's not exactly riveting. But hey, Lloyd's issues with Garmadon are made very clear in the series for reasons very much so shown on screen. They have a very up-and-down relationship. So that at least is 1 point for Ninjago, and Jay does lose it in Seabound and it carries into Crystallized, so there's another point. But those are just 3 examples, only 2 of which are good ones. Addressing past problems and being affected by them happens so rarely in the show that I can't name more than that without rewatching all of it. That's an issue. Today I'm going to be going through the seasons and saying where I believe there's a major event that should have been addressed more. Just for fun. As a bonus, I might even throw in what I think the writers could have done to highlight the issues, because no, a low-hanging joke where Zane turns back into the Ice Emperor but a goofball version is not addressing trauma. Masters of Spinjitzu, aka the pilot episodes. Nothing actually. Off to a strong start. This is a really goofy and light-hearted season, and I don't have much to say about the effects it had on the characters. Kai had the whole thing with Nia, but it was resolved rather simply, and she's still with him in present time, safe and sound. But if you really wanted to, you could say that it should make the group fear and hate Garmadon, which it does. So no issues there. Great job, pilot episodes. You continue to be peak fiction. Rise of the Snakes. What the hell even happened in this season?
I'll get the Edmund and bend you forever!
The Great Devourer's attack was certainly something that would scar the rest of the city, and it did, considering Harumi exists. But other than that, Zane finds out he's a robot, and this is the one time that the writers don't beat his personality to death with a shovel. He actually has a genuine emotional reaction to this. But it's promptly thrown away in later seasons where they take his goofiness and replace it with making him unbearable. I can't really understand why they did that or how they even managed it, but what can you do? Also, the fact that nobody ever brings up Hypnocole again is sad. Not exactly what I'd consider a traumatizing event, at least not for Cole. It's too lighthearted for me to take it that way, but it was funny and it needs to be referenced again. Legacy of the Green Ninja. Wait, what happened?
I'll get the Edmund!
Not too sure about this one. Honestly, being turned into whatever the hell this is would probably mess me up a bit mentally, but I can forgive this and the others from earlier seasons because, again, these seasons are incredibly goofy and not trying to be as serious as New Age Ninjago. Also, my nostalgia is making me feel generous. So Legacy the Green Ninja is relatively clean. Rebooted. My nostalgia will not protect Rebooted because it was the season that made me straight up quit Ninjago for years as a little kid. Pixel and Zane's love story and the Cole Nia J love triangle were having a mid-off for screen time. This is also the season where Zane dies for the first time. As such, Rebooted should have left him scarred in my opinion. But they really didn't do much with it. Like, when he wakes up, he's freaked out that he's alive, but not at all by the fight he had with literal digital Satan, which sets up for the awesome trope that is him not being able to stay alive for more than 2 seconds. Tournament of Elements. Also nothing big on this one, actually. Tournament of Elements stakes were pretty low as far as Ninjago stakes go, and there was nothing I'd consider sticking with the ninja too much. Peak fiction of a season, though. Possession. Now here's where I start to have actual opinions, and the purpose of this video starts to make more sense. Possession is where Ninjago starts to attempt to be more serious, in my opinion, and has a couple of things that probably should have continued to affect the ninja. First up, Lloyd straight up gets his body snatched from him, and then proceeds to never bring that up again. On a similar note, Cole completely loses his body, and he spends a long time without it. I was seriously hoping for a moment at some point in the show where Lloyd and Cole talk about their experiences in possession. The two really don't bond much in the show, so seeing something like this would have been nice. They need their moments. Besides, I think sharing your body and mind with a dude who hates your friends and family and being trapped with him would probably be something noteworthy that you'd struggle with for a while. Referencing this could be literally as simple as giving Lloyd a fear of ghosts or being controlled or something. How hard is it to highlight trauma sometimes, Ninjago writers? Please tell me. Skybound. Do not get me started on Skybound as a season. It is a failure in every way. I realize some of you in the comments are going to become keyboard warriors for me saying this and leak my IP address or something, but I don't care. To me, Skybound is a fat 2 out of 10 stars, and the only reason it's not a 1 or a 0 is because it gives Jay and Nia more development. It sure does fail at everything else, though. But this isn't a full season review video, it's analysis on traumatic events, so let's talk about that. Jay and Nia went through a seriously scarring event where they both watched their friends get sucked into the sword of some dude who should probably be behind bars for pedophilia if nothing else. Then Nia comes to the brink of death and Jay holds his dying girlfriend in his arms. That's really traumatizing, wow! But then it all gets wished away and the two decide to simply never tell anyone. What? Sorry, but everything else aside, there's a living person just chilling under Dr. Julian's rotting prison and these two are just never going to tell anyone about it or go save him. And they're going to act completely unaffected by Skybound and have the only references to it be when somebody mentions something vaguely related to the season they look at each other? Strangest writing decision I've ever heard. But that's enough of me talking about the worst season, let's move on. Day of the Departed. Not a season, but it counts. This one is obvious and is basically just my Cole thoughts on Possession Part 2. We need more of Cole talking about his feelings, please. He bottles too many things up from the rest of the group. Also, Moral goes to hell, and that's sad to me, okay? Hands of Time. Oh, so much ambition. So much wasted potential. Anyways, losing Master Wu was the big part of the season. The Time Twins might as well have been sent to hell to have a tea party with Moro because we know jack all about where they went. But this is a moment where I congratulate the writers for being at least a little bit competent with the story. They do have the ninja split up. Now, do they grieve all that much? No, but it's acknowledged, and that's pretty much enough for me. Trauma and all that doesn't have to be the main focus of the show. It's just nice to display that the ninja are in fact people with problems and not just serious and unaffected fighters. Kudos to the team for actually highlighting how the ninja feel about losing Wu in the next season. Sons of Garbodon, Hunted, and March of the Oni. Banger seasons, but good lord, this is a lot. Honestly, the whole event is massively traumatizing for obvious reasons. Shoving aside literally everything else, I'm gonna snatch Lloyd and Harumi's arc from here and talk about it for a moment. Lloyd is very obviously still hurt by Harumi's actions in later seasons. It's brought up briefly in Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu, and then again in Prime Empire. And when I say that I want trauma to be acknowledged in the show, this is a perfect example of what I mean. Lloyd ranting about his troubles with Harumi in Forbidden, and then having to face his feelings towards her in Prime Empire. That's peak! That's the kind of stuff I want to see. It's nothing big, it's just these little moments that the plot could have survived without, but are still thrown in. As for the rest of the ninja, I felt like this could have been done with Cole after his fall. Give him a fear of heights, or give him nightmares about the Oni mist or something. Something to that degree. It would have been interesting in my opinion. Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu. Oh my god.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
The Ice chapter is literally my reason to make this video. It's a fantastic season, but has a terrible follow-up. Picture this, if you will. You're a robot living with your friends, having a great time. Then some evil bad guy comes along and causes a big old issue. So you fight them, and during the final battle, holding an object of immense power, you get zapped to forever hell. Oh no, but it's okay, your friends will save you, they always do. Except not this time. You have no hopes of getting home and you need to start up your mech, so you plug yourself into it to run a diagnostic. But some idiot unplugs you and you lose all of your memories. He then convinces you that you're the tyrant leader of a whole realm and you spend decades upon decades raining misery down on innocent lives that you should have protected. Your whole dynamic is flipped on its head as you forget who you are and slaughter natives in their own land with a dragon. Then, after years and years and years of suffering, your friends finally rescue you and take you home. You're scarred. Normal life takes forever to get used to again. You feel like a monster for the decades of horrible rule and wiping out almost an entire race of people. You'll never be the... Oh. You're just going to go home and be completely unaffected by everything that happened and everything you did. That's... Okay. Yeah. What? Do you see what I mean now? I'm not asking them to dedicate a whole episode to Zane talking about how guilty he feels, not at all. All I'm saying is that Zane is hugely concerned with protecting those who cannot protect themselves, so it seems wildly out of character for him to ignore and never address the decades he spent murdering people and ruining an entire realm. It made no sense to me to watch him go through all of that and then be completely reset as a character in the next season. That's not Zane. Prime Empire. Yeah, this is just another season where Jay is either blissfully ignorant and choosing not to see how horrible the things he's been through are, or the writers are really bad at addressing how things that aren't straight up someone close to a character dying affects them. I'm leaning towards the latter option. I don't know, I feel like watching all of your friends die all these times should do something a little more severe to the human or Nindroid brain. Speaking of Nindroids, there's more Zane abuse this season. As usual, it wouldn't be a good season without Zane being physically or mentally beaten into the earth, but he harbors a lot of hate for the mechanics, so I don't really have an issue with this scene. I actually quite like it because he's handling pain like an actual person instead of just not caring for once. Please give Brent Miller more opportunities to give Zane an actual personality. He is so freaking good at it. Also the coal falling bit. Yeah, but as I mentioned before, Lloyd does have that bit with fake Harumi, so this was good. Master of the Mountain. Mental illness numero uno! Honestly, this is almost like an apology for the way things were handled in Forbidden and Prime Empire. But then again, not really, because everything Cole is struggling with happened off-screen and is only brought up because plot relevance! We have another Cole falling joke. Yippee. But they did give the Upply a very lighthearted, we're back on the surface moment, and that was so heartwarming and enjoyable to watch. I'll take my victories where I can get them because I love seeing Plundar happy. The Island. Don't argue with me about it not being a season. I know it's not, but neither is Day of the Departed, and it's still on the list. But anyways, Jay being sacrificed is the big thing here. But he's seen far worse, so him getting over it pretty fast was fine by me. He does his typical Jay screeching and squealing, and that's always funny. Seabound! Nia becomes water. She took that movie poster way too seriously. But honestly, the ninja aren't the only ones who should be traumatized in this season. Benthamar kinda watched his dad die in his arms, so that's cool. But this is kind of why Seabound is peak. He gets visibly upset about it and uses that anger to help the ninja. Very good stuff. The ninja should be really traumatized by Nia pretty much dying. And they are. Evident in this season and the next. So I feel like this season is pretty squeaky clean as far as they come. Crystallized! I hate talking about this season because no matter what I say, someone is going to get mad at me. Spoiler alert! I don't like Crystallized. But the one thing it did handle was grief. Fairly decently. Everyone was dealing with the loss of Nia in their own way. Zane's way might have been taking a shovel to his personality again. His emotions are already flat. We don't need to completely take it from him, but I digress. Whatever! Crystallized also shows how not to have a character handle trauma, though. Completely ruined Lloyd's character for no reason other than, why not? So actually, this season gets no compliment. It kinda sucks in every regard. But I'm not letting this video dissolve into me complaining about how awful Crystallized is. There's a few other characters I could bring up in this regard from Crystallized, but they're not the ninja, and I don't like to talk about this season because I don't want to get yelled at for not liking it. Anyways, my point in showing you all of this was not to say that I think Ninjago is awful or anything like that. I'm just highlighting what I think is a bit of a flaw in the show that could be improved. The ninja, as people that are supposed to protect and harbor positivity, really shouldn't just brush over terrible things that they've been through and never speak on them again. I think it's important to show kids that are watching the show that being affected by past issues or talking about how they hurt you isn't a bad thing. That's gonna wrap up this video for today. Honestly, I just decided to make this because I was thinking about Zane and Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu and got frustrated. Sometimes the way he's written just frustrates me in general, to be honest. That could be another video I eventually make. But anyways, thanks for the support on my last video. I'm glad a good amount of people seem to really enjoy it. Sorry for not talking much about crystallized. I know that's like the hot topic right now, but I yell about it enough in Discord calls with my buddies, and I'm getting tired of talking about it all the time. But in any case, thanks for watching. Be sure to follow this if you want to see more stuff, and remember, I'll make a Discord server when we hit 3,000 subs. These are the terms, so make sure you're subscribed and maybe tell a friend about the channel or something. Love y'all. Have a great day, night, morning, or whatever it is for you. Corbian out!